Hi guys, and welcome to another video. As you can see, we are back in my room, and today will be another chatty video. If you don't know, I recently got my Singapore permanent residence. In short, I just became a Singapore PR. So background, I am Malaysian working in the finance industry. So today I'm just going to be sharing about my journey on how I got my PR. Just a disclaimer, everyone's PR journey is slightly different. There are many factors taken into consideration and also a little bit of luck. So without further delays, let's get right to it. First of all, where did the accent come from? Okay, so first of all, when can you start applying for a Singaporean PR? So you can start applying as long as you have 6 months paycheck. So because I actually left my first job after 6 months, I actually applied 6 months into my second job. So I came to Singapore in June of 2019, and I applied in early September of 2020. Okay, so how do you apply for a PR? I just applied for my PR online. I went to the government website and then I applied online. So all you need to do is go to the ICA website, and then after that, you can submit your PR application using their e-services. Okay, I will fall under the category of employment pass or S pass holder applying for a PR for self. So there are many ways that you can qualify for a PR. You can either be a spouse, or you can be like a student, or you can be an aged parent of a Singapore citizen or PR. But I am going under the EP route. So if you are already a work pass holder, you have something called SingPass. So you log in with your SingPass app, and then everything kicks off from there. I won't go too detailed into like the technicalities. Okay, before you kickstart the application, right, you should look at the required documents and prepare all of those first. Okay, so you go to the explanatory notes for your category. So for mine was the EP. So you just need to tick all the boxes for documentation. Basically, it's stuff like your identification, passport, degrees, highest educational certificates, 6 months pay slip, and then you also need your current employer's letter verifying your employment details, and then you also need to fill out this IRAS consent form, also available online. So pretty straightforward. You just need to follow the list of documentations provided. And if any of your documents are in a foreign language, like not English, you need to get it translated by an accredited translator, and you need to get it notarized by a legal officer, basically. Yeah. But then for Malaysians, birth certs do not need to be translated because Bahasa Melayu is also the national language of Singapore. So they will be able to understand which is like your father's name, your mother's name, and your name. Yep, that's it. A lot of people have asked whether you need to go through a third-party agent for your PR application. The thing with these agents is that they charge really, really high fee. For me, I didn't think it was worth it, so I just went ahead and did it online. Number one, get your documentation in order. And then after that, you can launch the application online. Then after that, it's just the wait. They say that it takes about 4 to 6 months for them to get back to you. For me, they took 6 months and a week to get back to me. So quite on time, but of course this depends on like the complexity of your profile as well. I have some friends who took like 2 years, not 2 years. It's been a year and the application is still pending, and then some took 3 months. So it really depends also with how much work is backlog at the office, and also it depends on a lot of factors. So while you're waiting, how do you check that your application is moving along the line, getting approval, or you need to submit any necessary documents? So like I said before, if you are working here, you should have the SingPass app, and then after that your application is already registered on your portal, so you just need to go in and check on the status. Most of the time it will just say that it's processing, and then right around the 4.5 to 5 month mark, if there are any outstanding matters or details that the office wants you to clarify, they will send you a notice for whatever they need additionally. Yeah, and then after that you also submit those online, and then you wait again, and hopefully by 6 months then everything's good. So here I think me and my friends, we found a tip. So when you're accessing your portal, there will be this button that says like furnish, something along the lines of like furnish required documentation. So if your portal had this button and then a few weeks later you check and then it's gone, there is a high chance that everything's in order already and you just need to wait for the approval process. This is just something we stumble upon. We don't know if it's the right way to check, but yeah. And then about preferred demographics, what I've heard, this is not formal, not stated anywhere, but if you do have friends around, you tend to hear rumors that obviously they prefer younger working adults that is in their preferred industries. So they may change their preference over the years. So I happen to work in finance. I don't know if that is a preferred industry, but it's a pretty common, pretty big industry here. In Singapore, there's also a nationality quota. So your application approval rate also depends on whether in that year there are as many people in your quota range. For example, I'm Chinese Malaysian, right? So I will be competing with other Chinese Malaysian females to meet the quota. Of course, if you don't meet the quota, I don't think they reject you straight away. They might just put you on standby until the quota refreshes. Age plays a factor, so the younger you are, the longer time you have to work here and like earn your money and contribute to the Singapore economy, which is very important for their PRs. I mean, in the end, they want people that are able to help build their nation and help bring up their economy. They're not just here to give you like free pass to their medical services. Yeah, so you gotta manage certain expectations for that. And then for guys, if you are in the younger age, I think before 16 or 18, then you might be subjected to national service as well. I know certain qualifications are preferred, something more similar to a Singapore qualification. So even if you have like a really high qualification in a certain field from overseas, they might not even take you in even if you have a master's, because it's not their preferred accreditation. So I know that they are pretty strict on certain industries educational qualifications. If I heard correctly, there was a particular industry where they reduced the list of recognized university qualifications from like a certain number to maybe about like less than 10. So that's how strict they are. So if your education qualification falls outside of their list, maybe not so preferred. So if there are other people that have more matching profiles compared to you, it might be a factor of consideration. I don't really know. Yes. Oh, the other thing I heard that would help is that if you paid your taxes at least for 1 year, then you apply. So at the point of application, I already paid my taxes once. And then I also heard that if you update your address in the middle of your application, it might speed things along, because if you're almost at the end of the line and then like you have to update something and then like the person in charge has to update your application, and if it's almost there already, they might just like, oh, okay, like I'll just process this first. I don't know if this is a real thing, but a couple of my friends have updated their addresses during the process, and their speed does seem to be a bit faster. But then again, yeah, nobody really knows unless you work there. Another common question is people asking, why do I want to convert to become a Singapore PR? Like, what are the benefits? So right off the top of my head that I can really think of is that you get to stay in the country longer. So for work passes, you only get to stay maybe a year or 2 years before your pass gets renewed. And then especially in tough times like this, like COVID crisis, and then like the Ministry of Manpower just completely locked down on issuing any visas. So if I was still on the EP and I was up for renewal during this bad timing, I might have some difficulties getting renewed. Worst case scenario, it might not get renewed, and then I have to go back. So if you're a PR, your PR ship status is valid for 5 years, so there's less renewals in the process. And then I think renewal should be pretty straightforward as long as you're still working, still contributing, everything should be good. There's also better job opportunities for PRs because like some kind of work levy for the employers is much lesser. So for a company to hire a foreigner that's not like a Singaporean or PR, they have to pay a certain amount to hire this person. So a lot of companies rather not. So they do have preference for Singaporeans and PRs. And the third one is that you get a CPF, which is the Central Provident Fund. So kind of like EPF in Malaysia, but better, I guess. Every month your salary gets deducted by a certain percentage, and then like it goes to your CPF, and then your CPF has 3 accounts that contribute to like your ordinary account that you can use to buy houses, your special account that can be used to save for retirement, and then your MediSave account, which is used for medical expenses. And then these 3 accounts are generally better rates than the banks. Like for your first 60,000, you can go up to 6% across all accounts. So it's a very good way for you to kind of save for your necessity. Fear is also the reason why some people do not want to become a PR, especially if they are not too sure if they're going to stay here in the long term, because like every month your take-home salary is being deducted by like 37%, so it's quite a lot. And then you cannot take the money out until you reach age 55. Yeah. So for those people who feel like they might just work here for about a couple of years and then go back to their home country, they might take this into consideration. Yeah. And then another important thing is that if you're a PR, it's easier for you to get housing. So if you don't plan to get a house here, it's completely irrelevant. And you can only get a house that is like private, which is like condos. Price difference between public housing and private housing in Singapore is quite different. So for example, a 900 square feet apartment in a public housing scheme can cost maybe like $500,000, whereas if you go like private, it's at least 900,000 or up. And also the loans that you can get are also very different as well. Like the down payment that you have to pay is also very different as well. So if you get public housing, you have to pay down payment of at least 10%, and then for like private housing it's like 25%. So yeah, the initial cash outlay is very different as well. Medical costs, obviously being a PR, medical costs will be cheaper because if you are a foreigner, there is like a foreigner imposed additional cost when you need to get treatment. So yeah, these are the main benefits that I feel are relevant for a PR. And then I also just wanted to throw in another tip for those of you who are thinking of becoming PR and have driving licenses back in your home country. Like for me, I have a Malaysian driving license. So after I've gotten my PR ship, I have to convert my driving license within 3 months. Otherwise, I will have to retake the entire driving course to get a Singaporean international license. But then if I convert it within the 3 months, I only need to go sit for the theory test. Take the driving license course here is like $1,000-ish, and then if you fail, you have to pay more. So yeah, basically saves you time, saves you money. So why not? Also gives you the option of driving here, because there are a lot of like car rentals here that you can actually just use your phone, unlock it, and then drive it, and then park it back wherever. Kind of like O-Bike, but this is USG. So I'm really excited to get to try that once I convert my license. Oh yes, also another benefit of converting your license is that it lasts forever. Obviously, you cannot exceed a certain amount of demerit points, but then like unlike a Malaysian license that you have to renew every 5 years, once you get a Singapore license, it's like valid for like no need to renew unless you get it revoked lah. So yes, very good. It's only like $30 if you go through the school. I heard that if you do it manually, it's even cheaper. So like, yeah, why not? So that's it for today. I hope that the information shared has been very helpful. If you have any other questions, you can just drop it in the comments down below, and then I will try to get back to everyone. And thank you for watching and have a nice day. Today's a public holiday here. I think it has something to do with Hapusam, Wesak Day, one of the Hari Rayas. Oh my god, I don't know. Yeah, so until next time, bye. Okay, this is like, I don't know how much I can show without people trying to identify, and I don't know how much I can show to prevent people from stealing my information, but this is WIC. Yeah, so pretty cool. I think one thing that's really cool is that it has your Chinese name, which I've never had it on any of my ID cards before. One thing that's not cool is that if you update your address, they just give you a sticker to just like replace the address, to stick on the address portion. So that's kind of weird. It doesn't look pretty. But I think if you want to get a new card, you can. You just need to pay. So yeah. Peace out. Oh no.